Good evening. Good morning. It is the Michigan basketball postgame live show. I'm Dennis Fithian, Michigan, with yet another victory out on the West Coast. They beat USC a couple days ago. They come back and they, in the end, roll UCLA 94-75. Now, it wasn't that easy, but it looked like it was going to be that easy in the early going with Michigan in this game where they stay undefeated in the Big Ten. They're 4-0. They get great contributions from their two big guys that you've grown accustomed to now, and then two other guys really step up when Wolf and Golden, Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden, got into foul trouble. They were going to need others to step up, and they did. Namari Burnett on both sides of the floor, good defense, comes back, knocks down a three. But the one who jumped forward, and something you'd say that is a great sign for Michigan, they need a point guard. They need someone to run the team. They got a nice team and everything. You know, it's a little bit of nitpicking, but it's also just true, straightforward. You know, you're going to have some guard play as the season grows on. Good guard play, and Trey Donaldson provided that tonight, and he did it with a real shot in the arm, scoring from downtown. Not just making a three, but then he shot one from about 30 from straight away that you just don't see players. I mean, you do if you watch the pros and you see somebody like Steph Curry. This is what Trey Donaldson, he was shooting from 30 feet and making it. And it had been since I think another Trey Burke, since I had seen somebody shoot a three-pointer from that far away from the basket for U of M and I guess make it, besides a half-court shot or something like that, just in a regular flow of the offense. So a lot of good news for Michigan in this one. Michigan led by with game number 15 out there in California. And as we walk through this one, Michigan was up by as many as 18 in the first half. UCLA started playing some very physical defense. They were ended up making a little push, as in a little run, as you might expect. And Michigan was up 10 at the half. And then UCLA with Michigan having that lead at the half, the Bruins cut into it, and pretty quickly at the start of the second half, about 5 minutes in, the Bruins would lead it. And then Danny Wolf picked up his fourth foul midway through the game. And then Vlad Golden picked up his fourth 7 minutes into the game. And those were going to be the kind of things that you write down or you remember when you've got Michigan's top two players on the pine. But that's when Namari Burnett stepped up, had a steal, knocked down a three, and then it was Trey Donaldson from downtown. His, he early in the second half shot a three, and it was an air ball, and it wasn't just like he, missed by a little bit. Like he missed big time, and like they looked like 4 or 5 feet. It was almost looked like a pass or an alley-oop to somebody that wasn't there, but he comes back from almost that same spot that he shot the air ball, and he just stuck it. And then he shot the one from, I don't know, let's say mid-court of the logo, but, 30 feet. It was 28 feet, 30 feet. It was impressive. And then Michigan goes on and wins this one by a final of 94-75. And for this one now, you put the three key players in this one, Vlad, Wolf, Burnett, and Trey Donaldson. Michigan heading into this game, we'll look at some more of these numbers. We'll look at the box score coming up here straight ahead and the upcoming schedule. Michigan entered tonight's play in KenPom as number 13, the number 13 team. Of course, they were in the top 25 again this week, but Michigan ranked number 13. That's the second highest ranked KenPom team in the Big Ten. Illinois there at 11 and Michigan at 13. So they were looking pretty good there. Now, when you look at the box score tonight, a lot of good things to like for Michigan when you just examine it. How about right off the top, Vlad Golden with 36 points, 7 boards, and 2 assists. Vlad Golden in the first half, that was his best first half, his best game for Michigan scoring wise, but he was such a force at the beginning, and then he was a force at the end, and I guess in between as well. He had he really put it all out there. They weren't just throwing to him like back to the basket, old school. They were running the pick and roll with him. They did throw it down to him. He had a right-handed punch dunk. He had a two-hander, I think, and then he was in there with scoring facing from the left side. He was knocking down his free throws, and he ended up hitting a three-pointer in the first half, which prompted the color analyst Jalen Rose, the former Fab Fiver, to say he looked like Bill Walton at Pauley Pavilion, and it wasn't that bad of a comparison. Later, he called Danny Wolf the Joker, the big Joker for the Denver Nuggets. And Danny Wolf, he's big like Jokic, so there you go. Danny Wolf, I like both of those comparisons. Wolf had 12, 8, 6, and got into that foul trouble for Michigan, and he had to be the primary ball handler. This was a different game for Michigan in that they started the game for the first time without the starting five that they had all year long, when you had Roddy Gale Jr. pop up on the injury report pregame, and then he did not play. So Reuben Jones came into the starting lineup. Jones had some foul trouble, and then Trey Donaldson had some foul trouble. And so you had Danny Wolf as your primary ball handler in the majority of the first half. That's not something that you want, but I mean, that's the one thing with Michigan. They have Danny Wolf out there, and you're going to see some of that throughout the year, and especially if you get some guys into foul trouble. Jones got his first start, had 3 points, 5 boards, and an assist. The bench, Cheddar hit a three. It was a big three, a corner three. Michigan had some back-to-back threes when they were trailing. It seemed like Cheddar's out of all those. Trey Donaldson had some big ones, but Cheddar had a pretty big one. Walters, he 1 of 4 from downtown. You hope for more. And then the 2 freshman point guards just got very little burn in this one. And they're going to need, you say things. Michigan's got this nice record. I'm laughing a little bit because they do. They've got a nice record. They're in the top 25. They're playing better than I think anybody could have hoped or expected. They're 12-3 and 4-0. And yet you look and you say, yeah, they're going to need help from one of those freshmen. They're going to need some quality minutes, you would think, from one of those guys coming off the bench. And then you would also think that they're going to have to turn the ball over a little bit less if they want to really maximize and be the best version of themselves. Now, they turned it over 11 times in the first half, and things were going good, but 11 is too much. Michigan leads the Big Ten with over 15 turnovers a game. And so they would like to get to be around 12. But in the second half, they, I think, only committed 5 turnovers. That's about what you want. And so a little bit of grumbling there in the first half with the turnovers that you've seen. And then they took care of it a little bit. For the game, Michigan, the shooting percentage, is that right? 32 of 52. That's 61%. Let me just check on that, see if I got the numbers correct on that. 61% field goal percentage. You're going to win a lot of games when you do that. And then you come back and look at the 3-point percentage, 15 of 28. That's over 50%, 53.6. You're going to win a lot more games when you do that. And free throws, 15 of 21. That's over 70%, 71.4. So all of those numbers look really good, and that's why Michigan ends up winning the game 94-75 in the end. Now, let's check the upcoming schedule, and that is brought to you by the channel you're watching or listening to right now, the Maize and Blue Review, give yourself or that U of M fan in your life the gift of the Maize and Blue Review for 2025. Go to michigan.rivals.com. Lots going on in the world of Michigan, and you can be locked in and talk about and debate all day, all night, and then get the factual, entertaining information from the Maize and Blue Review. So it's a win-win. We'll see you over there. Now, that upcoming schedule, you have Michigan playing again on January the 12th. That is this Sunday at 2 o'clock. That game will be on Big Ten Network. Whoo, Peacock, man, you guys got to work on your audio. It's like, you watch the video game and you hear the crowd, I'm turning it up, turning it down. Oh, what a headache. All right. That's it for Peacock. Michigan, Washington, the Wolverines return home for a Sunday matinee at the Chrysler Center. That'll be fun, where you've got a top 25 team and an entertaining team. Michigan's a hot ticket right now. They're a fun team to watch. We do have some people that are up this morning. Let's see what they're saying. The ROJ is saying there's a lot of winnable games on the schedule. I think we can start discussing how high of a seed we can get this year, playing like a top 3 seed right now. Yeah, they are. I look at it where I don't think you start out 4-0 in the Big Ten, winning the Big Ten regular season championship would be huge. It's not everything, but they're in the discussion. Illinois, there's 5-6 teams that are in the discussion, but Michigan certainly is one of them. And they're 13th in KenPom right now. If you're in the top 16, then you're thinking that you're at least should be a 4 seed, right? If you're in the top 16. That's the way I'm looking at it there. And so, yeah, a 3-4 seed. And I wouldn't say I would project that right now, but maybe I would, considering how they're playing and what I feel like they are going to play it out. I think I would take a 3 or 4 seed right now, but that's the kind of way that they're playing. I think that's a good speculation and good thoughts there. BK says we could have won by 40 if the turnovers. Yeah, hey, they end up winning by, 19, and you're like, hey, they didn't even play their best game. Like, and they got in foul trouble and didn't play their best game, and they're winning by 19, that's a good sign. BK says the issue is that the bigs start out hot, but the other teams adjust, and then Wolf tries too hard with being the point guard. Yeah, I don't have you got to take some bad with the good. And it was like Vlad Golden. He had a turnover, a terrible turnover. UCLA was making a big push. They score. They had taken the lead. And he throws the ball instead of, just giving it to the guard that's 10 feet in front of him. He throws it into traffic at half court with 3 guys around a player trying for some highlight reel, fast break right there. He can't do that. But as good of a player as he is, and so there's no doubt that they need to rein it in a little bit. You get the freedom, but instead of, I think it's a footnote, or is it at least, it's a conversation to have about them being as good a team as they can be. They're in some ways fabulous. Highly entertaining, a big surprise. I mean, we're talking about being a 3 seed here tonight. But also with that, with the way you play, the expectations go up and you start watching them. You're saying, well, what would be their downfall? Everybody would agree. Carelessness with the ball, turnovers, however you want to put turnovers. You want to say careless, protective. Well, it's turnovers. That's what it is. So that's the thing that will cost this team now. Getting strong guard play to complement and help out the bigs, that's going to be It's all tied into turnovers. But if you're getting Trey Donaldson where he can stay out on the floor, and after Trey Donaldson, you're saying, okay, who else? Well, Roddy Gale can give you some minutes. He wasn't there. You saw without him how things tighten up, and then you're getting into foul trouble. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying. BK saying they get gas, but the bench cannot provide relief. Again, it's not splitting hairs. It's just one of those things where you're looking at them and you really like what you see, but you want to see even a little bit better. Jack talking about Trey Donaldson has this type of potential. Has this type of potential, no doubt. BK wants to know who the leader. He says Golden. He says Wolf is trying to be that and do everything at once, and it makes everyone else play sloppy. Yeah, look, there's some criticism to be had, but there's also I think it's Danny Wolf. Then I would say Vlad Gold, and then I would say Trey Donaldson. I would put those three in there, and then you go from but if I had to go with a number one, I would say Wolf. And look, Wolf is not just a net positive, but he is a star. He is someone that, when Jalen Rose was calling him the Joker, the Joker is 6'11" there at Denver. Wolf is 7 feet, but he plays tonight and he can score from anywhere on the floor. What you are watching is something that you just don't see a lot in college basketball. And he has landed in Ann Arbor and he is a joy. So some of he was making, one-handed sweet passes to Golden, who was dunking. These two were playing off of one another. He got called for one travel. Nobody was around him. He's just dribbling the ball up. He's 7 feet. I think the refs, they're not used to that. And so they called a travel on him or a double dribble or, carry. That was a bad call. Another time, he's got the ball over his head and he's kind of bum rushed, and that should have been a foul on UCLA. So there's just two of them. So I'm ready to live with it. Do I think Michigan's going to win a national championship with Danny Wolf turning the ball over too much? But he's an asset, and like I said, overall, any team would want to have him on there. He's just not perfect. And if he was perfect, he would rein it in a little bit more and he wouldn't have some of the careless turnovers. I would say the same thing about Golden. He's one of those that he's good for one or two, maybe three a game, where you say, you just don't have to do that. You're too good to be throwing the ball carelessly away like that. You don't mind, if he's going up and he's getting some charges and he's down there mixing it up. But, you're going to live with some of that. But if they get a little bit better, the sky is the limit for this team. So that's it. BK's talking about staying up. I did. I drank some coffee at halftime. Otis called 85-75. He underestimated Michigan again. Here's Ferris. West Coast Ferris is talking about West Coast Super Deluxe victory action. And OJ talking about the turnovers, but getting better every game. Hey, I thought about them going out for this 2-game road trip. When the Pistons go out, when any Eastern Conference team has their West Coast road trip, you're thinking 500. Survive out there because it's tough to go out on the road, not just to travel, it's at times it's a different people that have go east to west and all that. You realize that, and it's not the easiest thing. And they spent a long time out there. And so that's, these guys with the teams being in the Pac-12 teams now being in the Big Ten, this is kind of it. You're going to have to deal with it. UCLA's not half bad. USC is being on the road, what I'm saying, but a long way. Winning both of these games is, I don't know about remarkable, but it's impressive. This is impressive for Dusty May to get his team to go out there, play like they did, and come back with 2 dubs. He's got to be ecstatic. They've got to be sky high. They're going to be 40,000 feet, flying back in a great mood, and they should be out there. He should be praising them up and down, and then when they get ready to go, and hit the tarmac and everything, he should say, "You guys are great. You're doing a great job. Let's just take care of the ball a little bit better, and we'll see you out here in a couple of days when he gets back." That's what he should say to him, because they are doing a fabulous job. Now, if you missed this news before I go, I wanted to tell you about it. Earlier today, Michigan had three commitments for next year. Trey McKinney, the local guy, and then Winters Grady, and then Oscar Goodman, who was from overseas. And those three guys all signed up. I'm sorry, let's get over here. And there was a guy from New Zealand who put a tweet out today, and Michigan is expected to get Oscar Goodman. He is reclassifying from 25 to 2024, and he is on campus for the winter semester this week. So Oscar Goodman is joining the Michigan basketball team. Now, Cousins says Oscar will redshirt, readying himself for a significant role for next season, the 2025-26 season under Coach Dusty May. Now, so that's what's expected to happen. Goodman is expected to come in. He is reclassifying, but he's expected to redshirt. Well, sometimes can he provide ball handling or a scoring punch? Maybe there's an injury. Who knows what's going to go on there? But so if I had to handicap this, I would say with this news right now, you'd say, yeah, that's the plan, that he would redshirt. And so what is that? 90%, 99%? But then things happen. And then who knows, when you get out there and you do start practicing and you do start making plays and things can happen with the team, that 98% can turn around pretty quick. It's at least an option. It's something to know about, that Michigan's one of their commits for next year, the kid from New Zealand, Oscar Goodman, is in now, and he's joining the team. He will practice, and he's going to redshirt. And then he's going to be ready to go for next year. It's a nice little surprise there. And as this team, you're thinking about my expectations for this team. I didn't even think that this team would make the tournament, to be honest with you. I didn't come out and say that. I've said it maybe once or twice on this post game. I thought putting all of these players together was likely not going to happen for this team. But that is, I have quickly changed that around. And as I sit here right now, we're talking about this team being a 3 or 4 seed. So they're blowing the expectations, mine, I think others as well, out of the water. And now you're thinking about being competitive for a Big Ten championship. And if you're a 3 or 4 seed, you're thinking about an outside chance at making a run in the tournament. Final Four, you start saying that. I'm going to wait still another month before I start saying that. But things are going really good. Dusty May has put this team together. You should be very happy. They're very entertaining. And it has been a blast so far to watch them through 2024 and then now through January the 8th, we can say. So Michigan wins this one again, a final of 94-75. New starting lineup, foul trouble. Trey Donaldson, Damari Burnett pick up the slack. But the two studs for this team, Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf, man, they put on a show out in Westwood that will be known now. The Wolf of State Street and everything else, and the way Vlad is playing. Michigan's 1-2 punch was complemented by a 3-4 punch today. All right, thanks so much for watching, listening, and we will see you on Sunday after Michigan, Washington. Have a great morning, everybody. So long.